What's up, YouTube, and welcome to my first YouTube video. My name is Nate, and the reason why I'm making this video is because I'm going to be recording the beginnings and eventual expansion of my vinyl collection. I got my first record player last Christmas and started buying vinyl shortly after that. Now I have a pretty sizable start to my collection, and I'm going to be showing them off to you today. After every 3 or 4 vinyl that I get, I'm going to be showing them to you, and later on, so I'm going to be showing you how my collection has grown. Also, I'm going to be showing off the different artists that I have, different albums, and then hopefully giving you guys some recommendations on albums and artists and genres. Also, I'm not rich, so I can't bang out 3 or 4 vinyls every week. So if there's a long stretch in between videos from one update to the next, I apologize for that. But let's get started. So the first album we have is Because the Internet by Childish Gambino. This is my favorite album from Childish Gambino, even though Awaken My Love is a very close second. I do seem to enjoy the R&B side of Donald Glover. He is a good rapper, but sometimes he loses his impact as a rapper when he starts talking in nonsense, starts talking immature and says immature things. He still knows how to flow and still knows how to rhyme, all that kind of stuff, but his singing ability is just off the charts for me. But I love the spacey, jazzy production of this album. Plus, his flow is really good in this album as well. This album comes with the big screenplay, 2 sleeves for the vinyl, and the regular black LP for the vinyl. I highly recommend this album. Next, we have Domo Genesis with Genesis. I discovered this album because I was looking around to find new artists, new rappers. This was before I found out about Odd Future and who was in it. But I found this album and I fell in love with it right away. I loved the production of this album. I loved the way it sounds. His flow, even though it's not like impeccable, it's not like super hard. It doesn't go like super hard on it. But his flow is very good for what the album sounds like. Very spacey, very jazzy influence, very R&B influence. I just fell in love with it, so I downloaded it right away, found the vinyl right away. Just basic sleeve with nice little artwork and a thank you note from him on the back and standard black LP. My musical palette is very diverse. I like a lot of different kinds of genres of music. And next we have Dream Theater with Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory. Now the reason why it's called Part 2 is because on their second album they have a song, Metropolis Part 1, which is basically the prelude or the introduction to this album. This is a concept album, has a fantastic story to it, easy to follow, and this is one of the greatest concept albums of all time. And the reason for that is because not only do the lyrics tell a great story, but the music itself tells a fantastic story. It's able to continue the story onward, even when the lyrics have stopped. You can still tell what's going on within the music. This album is beloved by a lot of different people in the rock community. You know, Dream Theater is a very prolific band. Great musicians, fantastic musicians. Front and the back, a great gatefold with the lyric. We have black sleeve for this one with a black LP. Really fancy stuff. I mean, they're a fancy band. Also, we have the sheet with a bunch of credits on it. Fantastic rock album, one that I highly recommend. Even if you're not a rock fan, just check it out. Maybe you'll find some value. This is a great album. Next album we have is Father John Misty with Pure Comedy. This was one of my favorite albums of last year. The way I'll describe Josh Tillman's music is imagine Randy Newman if he could sing and was funny as hell. This album is a very like lo-fi, like piano ballad driven, soft rock album, but you listen to this album for the lyrics. Josh Tillman is very self-aware and very socially aware on this album. He basically makes fun of things that he sees in the world. I mean, he makes fun of people, how they act. He makes fun of himself on this album. There's a song on it where he makes fun of the fact that he makes these really long 2-line songs, and it's super funny. He's a very funny guy. So this slide comes out, which has the name of the album on it. Everything fits into this nice little pouch, which is also part of the album cover. So what you get in this package is this holographic card. You get a different one, I think, for each album that you get. You get a download card here. Not sure if y'all can see that, but if you can, the album is yours now. You get a big ass poster which has the lyrics and stuff on this side, as well as a nice illustration on that side. Then you get 2 sleeves for the vinyl. It's really cool because you actually interchange which sleeve you want to be part of the album cover, which is very nifty in my opinion. But the vinyls themselves, you could get that copper vinyl or the silver vinyl. Fantastic. I love it. It's a fantastic album. Check it out if you like that kind of thing. Or if you're not, just give it a shot. See if you like them. Leave a comment down below. We'll have a nice polite discussion on these artists, right? Hear me out. I get it. I know he's kind of a wild card. He is a wild card, obviously. He's doing a lot of crazy stuff right now. But hear me out. I'm not a huge fan of what he's saying either and what he thinks. But I love this album. I listened to this album back when I was in high school. And I loved it ever since. And I need to have it on vinyl. I'm going to have more Kanye albums on vinyl because even though he's a bad person, well, not bad person, let me rephrase. Even though he's made some bad decisions in his life and he's made some questionable decisions, I still enjoy his music, no matter what people say or what people think of him. The triple vinyl edition, the tri-gatefold is insane, bro. You just have the basic white sleeve, black vinyl inside. Nice poster with him on the back. We also get this artwork where you can actually interchange the album cover, and you can choose which album cover you want on the outside. So that's actually a really interesting way of doing it. I chose this one because everyone knows that album cover, so I love this album. I know a lot of people are kind of polarized with this album now, even though it's been out for like 7-8 years now, but I love it. It's like a damn sandwich. Yeah, I love this album. I know this is very polarizing for a lot of different people. The whole turn to the mainstream sound. A lot of songs are overplayed, of course, Humble and DNA and all that kind of stuff. But the deep cuts on this album are very good. Triple X and Fear is one of my favorite Kendrick songs of all time. I just love the sampling from that song. I love the lyrics of that song. And I'm not a huge fan of Yah or God or, or even Loyalty. I think that Kendrick sometimes needs to stop with the whole changing his voice for certain songs. I think he sort of came through with the Black Panther soundtrack, but still a fantastic album. I think it's really good. I think it was worth the hype. White sleeve. And of course we had to get that red vinyl. And I know I bought it. I'm a stan of the best rapper in the world right now. Sue me. But I bought it. And I know it was probably just a cash grab. But you buy it for the clear vinyl disc, at least to me. Now, this next album is an all-time favorite of mine. This is an album I'm going to be playing no matter how my musical interests evolve or change over time when I get older. This is what I consider to be the perfect rap album. And say what you want, say you have your own opinions, but Good Kid, Mad City is my definition of a perfect rap album. I'm going to tell you why. This is an album where you can either play this thing all the way through and still be okay, and it has its own story, its own meaning. The whole album has its own concept, obviously. But you can also pick and choose certain songs out of this album, and they have their own standalone meaning, as well as being part of the story the album has. Some of these songs on here are just some of the best rap songs I've ever heard in my life. Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, I almost cry literally every time I hear that song. When the beat changes to the second half, I just lose my shit. But I love this album, always have. I love the gatefold, the single, all the credits on that side and pictures. I just love it. Standard white sleeve, black LP, but I don't know what your opinions are, but if you want to get into rap, this is where I would start. In terms of modern rap, this is where I would definitely start. Next album we have is Khalid with American Teen. This was one of my sleeper picks of 2017. I know this album flew under the radar for a lot of people. A very great R&B and soul album. He's only like 19 years old. He's just a teenager. Great gatefold. You have sleeves with pictures and credits and standard black vinyl disc. what I believe is going to happen to his career, that he's going to get bigger once he gets older, because he's singing a lot about the teenage emotion, about being a teenager. When he grows older and he becomes more mature, he's going to sing songs about more mature things. He's going to grow his audience to God knows how big. But this is a great jumping off point for his career. I know a lot of people know him for the Song with Logic, the Suicide Hotline single, but great album. Speaking of Logic, we have The Incredible True Story. This is my favorite Logic album. This was the album that actually introduced me to Logic. I love Under Pressure, don't get me wrong. Not a big fan of Everybody. Not a big fan of the second Bobby Tarantino. The first one I actually love. The second one is a little iffy for me. This is the album that got me into him. I actually saw him live in support of this album. Really weird gatefold. Opens up the opposite way. But a great gatefold there. And the credits on that side. Standard white sleeve, black LP. If you want to get into Logic, I would use this album only because it's easy to follow. Again, a great concept, great story to it. A lot of different sounds on his songs. I love his flow in this album as well. Alright, next we have a lot from one band, so let's get going. First we have the Garage Days Revisited EP from Metallica. This is my newest piece of my collection, or one of my newest. Metallica is my favorite band of all time. So you have the back and the front. They are my favorite band since I was about 10 years old. I love this band to death. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna have all their vinyls. But this is an EP that came out in 1986. This is just a two-sided 5 songs that are all covers of different bands. And they just released this on their label. You have the black sleeve, and you have a fantastic translucent orange vinyl. Ooh, I love it. My favorite thing about this album is that the way it says, not very produced by Metallica. That's actually really funny to me. Next, we have Hardwired to Self-Destruct. This is their latest album back in 2016. I actually love this album. This album is very polarizing to a lot of people. A lot of fans either say they still don't have the same juice as the 80s stuff, which I still kind of agree with. But a lot of people say this is the best album they put out since the 80s. But this is a very good return to form. I actually saw them live last May, and they put on a great show. They still put on great live shows. If you see their videos, they still put on great live shows. But you got the front, got the back, pretty good gatefold of the band. Weird pictures though. You have sheets for the lyrics right here, and then you have the marble red vinyl disc. And bro, the orange and red get me hard, definitely. If you want to get into Metallica, I'm going to show you the 2 albums that you need to get into right now. This album is for later on, but I love this album. I think it's a fantastic return to form for them for what they've done in the early 2000s, but I'm not a huge fan of Metallica. Again, Master of Puppets. This is the album that a lot of people say is their best album. I can definitely see why. It has so many classic songs on it. You have the back side right here, a bunch of pictures. This is a lot of people's pick for being the best thrash metal album of all time. I can definitely see why. This album is very precise. Their work is just impeccable. Their guitar work is insane. The drumming is insane. Bass playing is off the charts. Their songwriting is off the charts in this album. The album kind of slows down towards the middle part. To me, I love both those songs, but the way that the album starts off, it's 8 tracks, but it's still just first half is just okay. Second half is a little bit more of the experimental side of Metallica, but I definitely love this album. You have a nice little sheet with the lyrics, a bunch of credits, standard white sleeve, black LP. I can see why a lot of people's pick, because it's just such an incredible album. Definitely recommend it. But this is my favorite Metallica album, Ride the Lightning. This is their best songwriting out of any album they've ever put out. And it's the heaviest album they've ever put out. This album is heavier than Master of Puppets. Some of the production is a little lo-fi. Not lo-fi, but very rough. But that makes the guitar sound thicker, have more bass to it. Great sheet with the lyrics, pictures, white sleeve, black LP. But if you want to get into Metallica, this is the album that I would pick. this is the album that I would pick. Because not only do they have a lot of thrash, there's not as much thrash on this album. There are a couple of songs that are definitely thrash influenced, but a lot of accessible, slower, heavier songs that are catchy, very easy to follow. And then Fade to Black is just one of the greatest songs ever, in my opinion. This is the album you get into. So I'm getting more Metallica. That's what I have so far. So just don't be surprised later on if you see a lot more Metallica. Next one's a little weird. We have Michael Jackson with Scream. This is an LP that came out not too long ago. This is like a compilation. I got it for the Glow in the Dark LP, and it's fantastic marble blue, midnight blue LP. This is like a Halloween type thing, but I saw it on Amazon and I'm like, holy crap, why not? I put it on, listened to it. The songs actually go together pretty well. Next album we have Blank Face LP by Schoolboy Q. This was one of my favorite rap albums of 2016. I love Schoolboy Q. He raps the best on this album in my opinion. The front and the back. You have a tall gatefold, which is really cool. You have the black sleeve and the marble orange vinyl. Yes, please and thank you. If you like Schoolboy Q, you know how good this album is. If you're not a fan of Schoolboy Q, listen to this album. You will definitely be hooked. Next, we have two albums from the same artist. Run the Jewels 2 and 3. I'm a huge fan of Run the Jewels. They're kind of overlooked, in my opinion. I know they have a lot of fans, but they don't have a lot of that mainstream success, which is definitely understandable. I mean, they are not the most catchy group. They're more visceral, more aggressive. I love Run the Jewels 2 more than 3. Don't kill me for that, please. But this is a fantastic album. Front, you have the back. We have the great gatefold of a picture of Killer Mike LP. The white sleeve. And the teal vinyl. I just love this album. I love this album a lot. Then, of course, Run the Jewels 3, their newest one that came out in 2016. This album comes with a great poster with the lyrics and the credits. Right, you have a great poster right here. I love the poster. I'm probably going to hang it up on my wall someday. You have the white sleeve and that heavy gold vinyl. It's tight, bro. It's tight. When I was in high school, I was at a friend's house. And he was playing a record on his laptop, and it was the first Run the Jewels. And I'm like, holy crap, who is this? Like, oh, it's Run the Jewels. And being in my young years, my adolescent years, so instead of buying the album, I actually downloaded the YouTuber Converter app on my phone or on my computer, and I looked up the album. And instead of downloading each and every song off the album, I just downloaded the entire album in one video, where you have the entire album from beginning to end in one YouTube video. So the way I listened to the first Run the Jewels was just the entire album. Didn't know the names of the song, didn't know who was on it, just front to back every time. That's my first Run the Jewels experience. The last album we have is from a recent band that I just started getting into. We have Teenage Wrist with Chrome Neon Jesus. I actually watched the review of this album on ARTV. They're a very 90s influenced band, very 90s rock influenced band. You can definitely hear a lot of Nirvana, Soundgarden. Then bands like Sponge and Silverchair and Oasis are all on this album. Very, very good rock album. And this is their debut album off of Epitaph Records. So you have the front, you have the back. A great gatefold of the band. You have the credits, another great picture. And then you have the fantastic translucent yellow vinyl. Great rock album from this year. If you want to get into a rock band, definitely do this album. That's it. That's the beginnings of my collection. I'm going to be posting a new video with updates every 3 or 4 albums that I get, showing them off to you why I got them and why I like the album and the band so much, or the artist or rapper or whatever it is. Again, my musical palette is very wide, very broad. That's why you saw some metal, some rock, some rap, some R&B on here. I will not buy a country album. I am not a country fan. Even if a Blake Shelton album is like a solid gold vinyl. But stick around. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. and I'll see you guys in the next video.